So Trump just signed an EO that makes being homeless enough of a reason to
So
lock you
Trump
up.
is back with a new bold promise. And as usual, it's turning heads in the country. Now, this is not about taxes, it's not about inflation, it's not about foreign policy, but this time, right, it's about the homeless. Because Trump is saying that homelessness will no longer be tolerated in American streets. No public camping, sleeping in city parks, no laying down on a bench, everything illegal. Hi, beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by, supporting your girl on this channel. So all credit goes to the creators in these videos. And guys, in today's video,
No warrant, just nowhere to sleep. So Trump signed an executive order that lets the federal government round up homeless people, especially if they have an addiction or mental health issues, and force them into institutions against their will. That's not help. That's prison with new paint. Understand, this is not about safety and all about control. They cut funding for housing, push people into poverty, and now they're going to punish them for it. And let's be real, Republican-led states are going to jump at the chance to enforce this, to vilify homeless people as much as they possibly can. But imagine if a Democrat tried this. If Biden signed an order to lock up poor people, they would burn down this country while screaming tyranny at the same time. But now, crickets. And they claim it's about cleaning up the streets. No, it's about cleaning poor people off the map, because last I checked, being poor was not a crime until now. This is cruel, and if we don't stop it now, the only difference between you and that other person is a missed paycheck.
Well, here we go. Okay, so in the U.S. currently, folks, there are approximately 771,000 people who are considered as homeless. Either they consider themselves as homeless, or the state has put them into a bracket which says they do not have permanent housing. Today, Donald Trump signed an executive order that makes homelessness illegal in the United States. And those 771,000 people I just mentioned have just become criminals. Folks, the source for this is ABC News. It gets worse every day.
Dig this. Today, Trump signed an executive order to force cities to lock up homeless people in institutions to clean up the streets. You know, because nothing says freedom like forced psychiatric commitment. Clearly, like everything else he does, this is a PR campaign to make homeless people disappear like our immigrants. If people don't see poverty, it just doesn't exist, right? It must be gone. Like magic. Poof. He's dangling federal money to cities that ban urban camping, otherwise called having a place to sleep, and wants to defund programs that actually reduce harm because apparently helping people is too woke. Sorry, Jesus. Look, people don't lose their homes because they're crazy. People go crazy because they lost their homes. You don't kidnap people without a home. You get them housing. That's the solution. Human dignity is the cure. But the felon, he thinks the solution is to make homelessness illegal and mental health optional. We're not solving the crisis. We're criminalizing the symptom.
The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs.
That was Trump 2 years ago in a campaign video addressing homelessness. Today, he put those words to paper, signing an executive order titled Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets. In it, he directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to attempt to end policies that limit local and state governments' abilities to move homeless people into treatment centers, redirects federal funds for transferring the unhoused to rehabilitation and treatment facilities, prohibits convicted sex offenders who receive homelessness assistance from being housed with children, and directs HHS, HUD, and the Department of Transportation to prioritize funding to states and cities that enforce prohibitions on open drug use, urban camping and loitering, and urban squatting, and track the location of sex offenders. Governor Newsom's office responded to the order in a statement, saying in part, like so many of Trump's executive orders, this order is more focused on creating distracting headlines and settling old scores than producing any positive impact. The National Homelessness Law Center echoing the sentiment, saying the misguided order deprives people of their basic rights and makes it harder to solve homelessness.
So today, Trump signed an executive order making homelessness illegal. It is now illegal to sleep, camp, or loiter on a public street. Not only that, but they will forcibly institutionalize the homeless. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to forcibly remove people from the streets, funnel them into hospitals, and then they've updated the criteria needed to forcibly commit somebody to make it easier to institutionalize these individuals. Basically, anyone who's homeless who has a mental illness, which I used to work at homeless shelters. I collected the data. Almost all of them have some form of mental illness, because being on the street is fucking depressing. And what is so fucking insidious about this is that we are in a time where you cannot afford to pay your rent, to afford your mortgage. Our housing prices are fucking ridiculous, and this criminalizes poverty. Because you are poor, you can now be institutionalized forcibly without due process and no way to defend yourself or get out. Not only that, they're cutting housing first programs that provide housing to homeless people without requiring a laundry list of things they need to do first, because most people who work with the homeless know that laundry list when people are in survival mode is fucking impossible. It is a lot easier for people to get off drugs, to be mentally stable when they have a home. Basically, as they are making poverty worse in this country, they want to make the people that are the symptoms of that issue just fucking disappear. Also, our system cannot handle that many institutionalized people. I worked in homeless shelters in Seattle. We barely had enough beds for those folks. We were always full. There are like 16,000 homeless people in Seattle. There are not that many beds in institutions. And most of those institutions run on Medicaid funds, which they are actively cutting. So where the fuck are they sending these people? That's the real fucking question. But the Supreme Court just ruled that, you can jail people who are homeless now. So they're probably just all going to go into their wonderful new prison systems and places like Alligator Alcatraz. This is not about providing treatment for people with chemical dependency issues or helping people with mental health issues. This is criminalizing poverty during a time when millions of Americans are actively facing evictions.
So guys, what do you think about this in the comment section? Because now it's looking like being poor, right, is now a crime. Okay, there are many people that are homeless that didn't choose to be homeless. Different circumstances, different troubles, different trials made people the way they are, right? Because it's looking like this, whatever it is, should I call it massive sweep up or massive sweep off of people from the streets, might cause those that have psychological problems, mental health crisis can worsen. Okay, because forcing them into remote camps can cut them off from the system that they recognize, right? Maybe from their doctors, their therapists, and even their family, right? Because some of them might choose not to get off the streets because the streets is something that they have gotten used to. So you can imagine if their family knows that, oh, okay, when I go to this corner, I know I will find my brother or my sister or whatever the case is there that has refused to come off the streets, but I see them every day and I know that they are okay. So this situation whereby you just sweep them en masse, right, will just cut off that relationship entirely, right? And looking at it also, they can be overdose risk, higher suicide, because displacement and isolation can raise the risk of suicide, overdose, trauma among those that are vulnerable. Guys, I need to know what you think about this in the comment section, because it's really a dicey one. And people are saying that this violates human rights, that it punishes the poor instead of helping them, right? And it just opens the door to vulnerable people, right? It makes them more vulnerable. That this would not fix homelessness, that it would just hide it, because all those mental illnesses, addiction, inflation, lack of affordable housing, none of that goes away. Okay, looking at the truth, none of that goes away by shipping people to tent camps. The problem still remains. Okay, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Let's keep watching.
What do you do when someone has severe schizophrenia and refuses to come off the street? Well, Donald Trump just signed a new executive order on homelessness, and whether you love or hate it, it is forcing conversations that this country has been avoiding for a long time. So here's what's in this order. It gives cities more power to clear encampments from sidewalks and public spaces. It prioritizes federal funding for cities that ban public drug use or loitering or encampments. It allows states to consider lowering the threshold to involuntarily hospitalize someone with severe mental illness or addiction, and it bans federal funding for safe injection sites or housing first programs that do not include treatment. So it's really signaling it's not just about housing anymore. This is about behavior shifts, it's about treatment, and it's about public safety. And honestly, it's sparking some really uncomfortable conversations. So what do you do when someone has schizophrenia and refuses help and refuses to come off the streets? Or does someone with a severe fentanyl addiction have autonomy, or how much autonomy do they have? And the big one, what does a city do when you need to intervene and the person is saying no? So this executive order doesn't just change funding, it's giving cities and states permission to start asking these questions out loud, and they're tough. Now, a lot of social services folks, they're going to hate this, but part of the reality right now is the general public is going to support this type of thing. They don't feel like the current system's working. They see people on the streets for years and years and years. They don't see any change in that happening, and they feel like social services have stopped listening to them. So now they're looking to their elected officials to do something about it, and this feels like action. Now, you don't have to agree with everything in this order, of course, but ignoring chronic homelessness or pretending everyone on the street is just waiting for a key to an apartment, it's not working either. This policy is going to push some hard conversations, but it's probably time we start having.
Anyway, guys, this is the part where I know what you think about this in the comment section. Because do you think that this is about the future of poverty in America? Or do we deal with it with care and housing, or with police and punishment? Or do we even build homes for them, or fences? Or is this a call to action? Because Trump is saying that this is the only way to save American cities, right? And some people are saying that this is the fastest way to destroy them. Okay, so what do you think? Is this bold leadership or brutal politics? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for listening. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Mental health is important. Stay safe. Ciao.